Hello everyone, today we're taking a look at the Jumper T-lite V2, or you might even say it's just the Express LRS edition, right? And for those of you that have followed the channel, you know that I have used this radio, so I will put a card up in the corner of some stick cam. I think I've done 3 or 4 stick cams, not with this particular radio, but maybe it was stick cam with this one, or this one. Yeah, I have 2 of the originals, so using this form factor is something I'm very comfortable with. One, I put the Express LRS module on, so I have Express LRS on various editions because sometimes I don't get things updated right away. But obviously, because I've got 2 of the originals, I'm someone who likes this form factor and likes this radio. But will it make me switch from the Zorro that I've been using? That a little bit later in the video. A few things to note. If you look at it, hopefully my camera picks it up. It might be a slightly different color, or it's just because I've handled the original so much. I don't know if that comes through camera very well. But that was something that I kind of noticed, was that both of the other 2 V1s that I have seem a bit darker than the V2 or the Express LRS. You should also note that the Express LRS in this is limited to only up to 100 milliwatts. Oftentimes when we want that next stage, we've got to have a fan. Or at the very least, the Express LRS devs say you need a fan or it's gonna burn up. So instead of putting a fan in and making a bunch of noise and bulk and ruining the form factor, they just went with 100 milliwatts. If you're worried about range, above 100 milliwatts, you're really looking at long range. Wesley Vardy has got some really good range tests. I don't have really any range tests. That's something that can get some unwanted attention, if you know what I mean. But Wesley has done an outstanding job, very thoroughly testing Express LRS, as well as other protocols too. He's using a wing and he flies it forever, and he uses, I think in a couple of his tests, he even might use 10 milliwatt, I think. Maybe. Oftentimes when I'm flying in the backyard, that's what I use, is just 10. I don't need much more than that. So if you feel that that number is limiting you, then you probably want to just put the Express LRS add-on module of your choice on this, because it does have a little bay that you can screw in, and obviously I've done it before, and you can get a module of your choice that supports the power output that you want. So if you're not familiar, we've got a 2-position switch here, 3-position, 3-position, 2-position. So 2 positions on both of the back, 3 positions up top. If you want to know how I set the radios up, I set the radio up so the sticks are like this, and then I pinch. So I arm with this switch right up here, either in the second or the final position, however you look at it. And then that way when I'm flying, and I can just disarm. So, and it sits very comfortably. This is how I use it if you don't want to watch the stick cam. Fit and finish is all the same, except for the color that I mentioned. Let's see, does this camera pick up a different color? Again, even if the camera does pick up a different color, it could just be because I have been touching this one with my greasy little hands and fingers, possibly. But yeah, so speaker's the same. There's a lot of things that are the same. It's got Express LRS inside. They still offer the 4-in-1 version, so you can add an Express LRS module if you want to. It has this little adapter that you can put into the back. You do have to, underneath this sticker is a little hole, so you've got to open everything up, and then you've got a little connector in there. It's a solder-free sort of connection, but you do have to do that on your own. Also underneath, it doesn't seem like they have put in reverse battery polarity protection, because they still have the same warning that they had previously. So if you do charge your batteries outside of the radio, always make sure you put it in properly, or it could potentially fry. Of course, I am not going to test that because, well, that's just silly. The spring tension feels a little stiffer, specifically on the right hand. Maybe it's just, you know, again, I said this just in a video I had like 3 or 4 days ago. I like a very loose stick in, so take that into consideration when I talk about this being stiff. It might be perfect for most people. This one feels less stiff. So the spring tension actually feels different between the 2 on mine. Of course, they both feel more stiff than either one of my other 2 V1s. But again, that could be because of use. Antenna does disconnect, but it does leave a little nubbin out here. So if you pack to fly, that nubbin would need some sort of protection. You can see we've got the nut right out here. We've also got these, just like on the V1, you can get a 3D print or a kit to mount a little FPV screen, which is kind of an interesting thing. We've got a trainer port and our USB-C port right over there for charging. Let's turn it on and we'll see if we can capture some audio here for you as we turn on the little dots. There we go. So hopefully you heard that Edge TX. That gives you a sample of the sound. Yes, switch. Oh, I forgot. I got to hit just any button back here. Return, return. So the navigation is all done with these buttons and the sys and the model button. I want to draw your attention to this because I think that was a big complaint originally, if I recall correctly, is that it was too bright. And they have changed. Hopefully the camera picks that up. They've changed the brightness. I think it's actually the materials above the LED is slightly different, so it's less bright. It's more of just a green glow, rather than over here you can actually kind of see the light down inside of it. This is more just a green glow, and that is green. I don't think my camera's picking it up very well. It's a nice bright green. So that was a complaint that I thought I remember reading about. So they seem to be using different material. It's still a pretty flat nubbin, just like on the previous. It's just made of some form of different material that it's less translucent, I suppose, or it dissipates the light a little bit more evenly, so it's less bright and in your eyes. They've reportedly fixed the issue where you couldn't run your external modules at full power. I presume that is just a matter of adding some sort of capacitor to the board so that it could supply full power into those extreme power needs for some of our other protocols. So if you have a nano module, or if you're a DIY guy or gal, you can fashion your own 3D print mount back here, screw it down to the holes that they provide, route the cable through here for the pins, and you can run anything you want, and presumably you can run it at the highest power that you choose to, because they have reported to fix that that the V1 couldn't run. I think it was, you couldn't go above 500 milliwatt, I think. There was some limitation. And as far as what you get a case, but no batteries. Maybe I didn't get a case. This looks like a case I have on my batteries, so maybe I put it in the box by accident. So, yeah, you might want to check on whether you get a case or not. It seems silly to get a case and no batteries. USB-C cable, quick guide, stickers, and they're kind of fun. And it comes with the mounting adapter for the back, the external module, as well as a few screws that are still in the baggie down here in the lower part that's sealed. All you need. And these are nice silicone wires. That matters to me. I kind of came up in FPV in an era where we were dealing with a lot of plastic coated silicone wires. You know, the kind when you put your solder to it that the insulation would go, it'd go way back on you, and you're like, oh geez, I got way too much exposure there. Now I've got to start over. Silicone doesn't do that, and it's very, very pliable and flexible, so that should make for easy routing. I think the Jumper T-lite is probably the best budget radio or entry-level radio in order to get started in FPV. It has fewer switches, which many people talk about with our radios having too many switches. Well, fewer switches on this one, so maybe more made for FPV. Comes in at a price point of just shy of $80 US. It comes in the two different versions. You can have it Express LRS on the inside, or you can get it with the 4-in-1 and then add your Express LRS module if you'd like to do that. The last question you might have is, am I switching? For those that follow the channel or have seen me do flights, that that I've been using the Radio Master Zorro. And now that it's got Express LRS inside, will I stop suffering from the short battery life of the Zorro and move over to the T-lite? No, unfortunately. But Jumper, you could probably bait me into doing that if you would make some all-metal CNC gimbals like the AG01s. And I bet you a lot of other people would like to see the Jumper T-lite and any of your other radios that would be compatible with some higher grade gimbals. Right? Don't we all, when we have an opportunity and we can afford these AG01s, love them? I know many people have been asking me, does it fit on this? Does it fit on that? So Jumper, maybe a missed opportunity there. Make some CNC gimbals. And then I'll revisit whether I'm going to stay with the Zorro or move back to the T-lite. Also, if you want to see somebody who does a lot of stick cam and uses the original V1 radio heads over at Infinity Loops, I'll link his channel down in the video description. It's actually a channel that he and two other micro enthusiasts oftentimes are posting to. Sometimes they all three get together and make videos, fun videos, but he also does a fair bit of stick cam and also does reviews, and he's quite a freestyle pilot, I must say. But again, this is the Jumper T-lite, and it is got Express LRS on the inside, and it is what I think you should probably start your FPV journey with if you're looking to start. Of course, if you're not into gamepad radios, then you have to look somewhere else. But I like gamepad styles. If you have any comments, questions, suggestions, or otherwise, please let me know in the comment section below. I appreciate your time. Thanks for watching.